All right, all right, all right. How's everybody doing this morning? Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the side Jawn. How you doing there? Miss Chocolate Girl.
Hey, good morning, Dennis. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
That's right.
Happy Saturday, Dennis.
Ha-
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday, baby. Happy
We
Saturday. It
made
worked me
it. We
all week.
made it to the weekend.
That's right. It worked me all week, but I made it to the weekend.
How was work for you this week? How did it go?
Pretty good, pretty good. I think I'm getting back in the swing of things.
The
I think I'm
children all
getting back
right?
in. Yeah, feeling good. Um, Thursday was a little rough. I'm almost missed the game on Thursday, but other than that, I'm getting back in the swing of things.
How did that happen? How you almost missed the game?
Fell right to sleep. Got home about
Oh man.
got home about 4 o'clock. Took a shower, got something to eat, and right to sleep.
Well, no wonder everybody was trying to reach you. And I kept saying, hey, anybody heard from Dennis?
Yeah, I went
I said
right to
he probably
sleep.
knocked out. hmm Yeah, it's been a good week. Work was hectic as usual. It's always hectic for me during hurricane season. I'm in property insurance, and so people are always trying to change their policies before the hurricane hits, if a hurricane hits. So it's always crazy. From I would say from late July all the way through December. It's just crazy.
Okay.
hmm
I didn't know that y'all. So you telling me during holiday season y'all get hit like UPS and the rest of them and Amazon and all that?
All the way through December because people are trying to adjust their policies. People try to game the system, right?
No, I
So
ain't know
they'll
that.
get
Hold on,
they'll
hold on.
get more coverage when they're likely to have a claim. And so if we're supposed to have an active hurricane season, you'll see people, trying to call and change their policies and do all kind of crazy stuff all the way through December through hurricane season. And then after hurricane season, we're busy because people are changing it back. It's wild, you know.
So okay, let's just say they have full coverage. They'll call
hmm
during hurricane season and change it to liability.
Oh no, 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 no. See, I'm not in auto. Auto is
Oh,
different than property.
oh, your property
Property
insurance.
is
Oh,
is homeowners. Yeah, homeowners, renters insurance, that type of thing. Condo insurance and commercial buildings. That's what we insure. And
oh,
you can have like X amount of dollars in coverage as long as you have 80% of the total replacement value of a building. That's good. You got to at least insure up to 80% of it. So a lot of people will carry that 80% until hurricane season. And then they want to increase their coverage amount up to the top of the replacement cost value of the piece of property. So it's just really interesting. And we have to stay near the office in case there's a hurricane. That's why I can't travel anymore. I can't travel during this season. Can't
okay.
go anywhere because they want you to stay close, in case we have a catastrophe, they want to, mobilize everybody into the office, and we got to do all, all kinds of things. But I will say for my company, I ain't gonna say the name, but for my company, we really have it down to a science. We handle those claims, man. We
That's what's
handle it.
up. That's what's up.
We do a very good job, very good job. So, but it's easy work and hard work at the same time. Anytime you deal with the public, it can be a little challenging.
Right. Right.
And I live in
Exactly.
North Carolina, just a
Yeah, 'cause,
great
well,
state.
it ain't just that, but a lot of people. There's a lot of people that call places up just because they don't have nobody to talk to.
Yeah,
I know,
they
I
do.
know, I know somebody that told me, it was an ongoing joke. They was telling me they was like, everybody be mad at Scam Likely. I ain't mad at Scam Likely because Scam Likely the only people that check up on you every day. That's what they were saying. I ain't
That
mad at
makes
Scam
it that
Likely.
I mean, they got a point.
Right. Every day they check up on you. Good morning to everybody that's there. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, y'all. Shout out to Jonathan Benton the second.
No, yeah.
Jade. Good morning, Jade. Good morning, Michael Henderson.
Yeah, Mr. Fuck Your Team. Yeah.
Is that what he said?
FYT, Mr. Fuck Your Team. That's what it
Is
is.
that what
Yeah.
that means?
Yeah.
Ah.
Now,
Mm, mm, mm.
this is the chop where we sitting here, we chopping it up. Sort of like you said, LeBron them got the chop, we got the chop. So we sit here and we chop it up.
The
And
chop.
one of the things that you had wanted to talk about was when Shaquille O'Neal said if he wanted to form a super team, he would have teamed up with Tim Duncan and
David
Tim
Robinson,
Duncan and
yeah.
Dave Robinson and joined the San Antonio Spurs, his home team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that makes sense. He's from San Antonio. He was a Spurs fan. And actually, when he first got into the league and he wasn't huge yet in size, I mean, he was big, but he wasn't huge
Yeah,
yet.
he wasn't huge.
Um,
He was about the size of I'm gonna say Dwight Howard.
mhm. I think he could have played the four because he was shifty enough. He had handles enough.
Yeah, but he ain't had
And
no jump
remember,
shot.
no, but he could develop that. He was a rookie. He could develop that. And if he had, yes, he could. And if he had gotten on a team with Tim Duncan, you don't think he would have learned to shoot?
I really don't think he would have learned to shoot if he got
Oh,
on the
I
team with
do.
Tim Duncan.
I do. I do.
I think he
Because
would
he
have left all
finally
the
got
shooting.
one.
I think he would
He
have left
got
all the
one for a
shooting.
big.
I think he left all
I'm,
the
I'm
shooting
serious.
for Tim Duncan. His thing was his in the box drop step dunk on you real fast. That was his thing.
I know that became his thing though.
I
Did you
mean,
watch him in college?
he did have a I'm not gonna say uh, I'll give him about 10 foot. He got a good 10 footer.
Did you watch him in college?
No, I ain't get to see him in college. I
Yeah.
didn't
See,
watch college back then
I've been
at
watching him.
all.
I was watching him since college, and I think he could have slid into the four. I really do. I think he could have slid into the four and leave David Robinson at the five. I think it would have worked. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that. What do you think about what he said, though? Do you think that made sense for him to say that?
Yeah, he was just trying to say, people going and starting big threes, and he was saying he could have started an unstoppable big three too, but he chose to go the other way, go to the Lakers. And at one point, not just the big three, let me say a super team. At one point,
Mhm.
people thought that the Lakers did have a super team when they acquired Karl Malone and Gary Payton. Now,
No,
I know you saying they were both at the end of their tooths, Karl Malone and Gary Payton, but a lot of people figured that was a super team.
no,
That's why they
I
were so
disagree.
favored. And the crazy thing is, it's kind of the same thing LeBron got going now with the Lakers. Another older
It is.
team,
Mm-hmm.
full of guys that's probably gonna make the Hall of Fame, but will they become winners, or will they end up
See,
losing to another Detroit team, something like that. Not exactly Detroit, but a team like that.
Well, I can tell you, I am cautiously optimistic because of what already happened.
Right.
If I hadn't witnessed that firsthand, what happened before, I guess I would blindly be all excited, like most of these Laker fans are now that I see in my Lakers groups. They're all excited and all hyped. Oh, we gonna do this, and I was like, don't be so quick to think. We tried this before.
Sure
you
did.
know,
Sure
we
did.
tried this before. And see, this is the reason why I'm always telling people it's important for you to know the history of things. And I have I deal with a lot of younger people younger than me all the time, every day. And they get upset with me sometimes because I'll make statements like that about history, and they don't want to hear about the history. They don't want to talk about what happened in the past. It's the past. That's old. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to hear about that. I don't want to know about that. Well, if you don't know your history, you're bound to make the same mistakes too. You see,
Right.
without even knowing it. The importance of knowing history is you're able to know what the problems and pitfalls are, and you'll better be in a better position to avoid those pitfalls. So, Jay Jones says it was a super team by name. By name by who? By the media?
No, no, no.
We
By
weren't.
name, we talking about the names of the players. Like, I mean, if you say those four names,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Well, yeah, you may be saying that now, but the term super team wasn't even a thing back then.
no, it wasn't because
Nobody was saying super team.
Houston had one too because they had got Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen and still had Clyde Drexler and Hakeem Olajuwon. So a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
thought they were going to be one, but that didn't work out.
Yeah, but and they didn't call it a super team. They just thought that it was going to work and they were going to win, and they didn't.
I don't know what they said. Did they say they were stacked back then? I think that's what they said.
They might have said stacked,
Yeah,
but
they
they
stacked.
now
Yeah.
nobody was using that term back then. And if you find it in some obscure article about that team, somebody calling it a super team, it didn't catch on because it was not widely used in the media back then.
Nah.
And that's just the truth of the matter. And so I'm not all jumping up and down, jumping for joy about it. I thought it's going to be interesting. But you got to remember, I was one that said I didn't want certain people to be on our team to start with. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
leave that alone because I
You
don't feel
wanted
like
that
having that
young, you
argument.
wanted that young core to grow together.
I wanted them to grow together because I've seen that happen before. We just saw that happen with Golden State.
Right.
It's like, give it a chance to work. No, we want to win now. Okay, Lakers, impatient Laker fans and Laker personnel who don't care about the legend and legacy. And see, I care about all that. I've been a fan since 1979. That is my team, the Lakers. That's the number one team in sports to me. I don't know. I go back and forth between them and the Steelers. I don't know. I don't know which one is the number one in sports, but it's one of the two. And I love my Lakers, and I always want them to be relevant. And I don't want us to have a hard time going forward after certain people retire. I don't want us to fall off like we've fallen off before. Who wants that? But when you use this formula that's being used right now, that's what happens. And that's what I'm opposed to. It's not the player, it's the situation. But whenever I speak on it, I'm accused of being a hater of this particular player, and I'm not.
Yeah,
I just
you're not.
love my team.
Yeah, I don't think it's a hater. Yeah, the
I
super
get I
super
get
teams,
bashed for it a lot.
super teams. I don't know. Shaq been on some pretty good teams though. I have to admit, he's been on some pretty good teams. Did some pretty good things.
Yeah, and you know what? Shout out to Shaquille O'Neal. I really get tired of people bashing this man.
They
I
only
get
gonna
tired of
they
this.
only bashing him because he on TV a lot.
I get tired of the Shaq hate. I really get tired of it. Oh, he says stupid things. Oh, he said, I mean, they do the same thing to Chuck. And it's ridiculous. They have their opinion. Let them have it. You don't have to agree, but you don't have to just drag them because of it. If Shaq feels that way, that's how you feel. Keep it moving. They blame him for the JaVale McGee. I had this conversation with several people in several groups about this whole JaVale McGee interview, and I'm a JaVale fan, but you cannot blame Shaq and Shaq and the Fool for everything that happened to that man.
Well, they really got
and for
into it.
missing and for missing all his money. Huh?
They really got into it though.
Got into what?
Shaq and JaVale McGee.
Oh, I understand all that. But
Oh,
I'm saying what we were talking about was his interview he did when he was talking about the impact that show had on his money. And what, because teams thought a certain way about him, he, according to him, because of the show.
because he was always on Shaq and the Fool. Yeah.
Right. And I said, and then he says that the show producers or whoever kept using the same mistakes over and over again throughout the length of the show. So it looked like he had more mistakes than he actually did. And I said, no, they didn't. No, they did not. They did not do that. And I'm speaking as a person who never missed Shaq and the Fool. Recorded it, saw every episode, used to laugh and love JaVale McGee
I
and
do. I
his
love
mama
JaVale McGee and his
and his
mom.
mom. I loved her too. I used to watch her. She can ball.
I
And
ain't know she could ball until
they had a reality show for a little while.
oh, I ain't know that either.
I
I ain't
think
know
it
that
lasted maybe a season or two.
he was in
Yeah,
a
she's a
dunk
man.
contest. That's when I found out about his mom.
Yeah, she can ball.
He
She
was in
taught
a
him
dunk.
everything he knows. She taught
Yeah,
him
he was in a dunk
basically. But
contest, and
anyway, and she's his manager or whatever. So I mean, at least she was. I don't know if she still is, but she
no,
was.
she still is. They tight. They tight.
Yeah, they are tight. And I understand how she felt about it and why she pulled up and said what she said to look after her son. I'm like that. I'm protective of my grown son too. But be accurate. You always hear me say, look, we can have opposing views. You can express your opinion. I can express mine, but be accurate with your stuff. Don't come up with fabricating stuff and recreating memories like, no, it happened this way. No, that's my only objection when people have these discussions.
But
Remember it how it was.
they got
He
a
was
mother's.
messing up.
They
And
got a
why
mother.
doesn't, wait a minute, why doesn't he ever talk about how the embarrassment that came from that show sparked him to improve his game
No,
and
they ain't gonna never say
elevate
that.
himself?
They ain't gonna
Why
never
doesn't
say
he
that.
ever talk about that?
But nobody never says that about Shaq. Like, oh, Shaq said this about me, so I wouldn't improve my game that way. That's never said.
I know it. And you
Only
know what?
person I seen that take that criticism, I take it back, was Donovan Mitchell.
There's been the second person, Dwight Howard.
I don't know. They was beefing for a while too. They was
Yes,
fighting
Dennis.
over that
Yes,
super.
Dennis. They were beefing for a long time, several years. But finally, he said, you know what? I'm going to shut him up. That's what he said. He said this in an interview. Finally, I'm going to shut him up. I'm going to get this second time to go back to LA and I'm going to do my job and I'm going to do it well. And I'm going to shut him up. Those are my words. I'm paraphrasing. He said it in a different way, but
Right.
that's what he meant. He did. He said, and he was large. He said he's been driven by the words of Shaq for several years leading up to his return to LA. It was in his ear. Yeah, he was mad, but it stayed in his ear. And sometimes when somebody is bashing you, it does encourage you and motivate you to improve. And a lot of the times, that is exactly, there's two people I know who have implied that this is what they do when they make these statements sometime into the atmosphere. Their intention is to get them to do better because they know that they can do better and they see it in them. And that's Shaquille O'Neal and Stephen A. Smith. They both have implied that that's what they're doing because they see it in it. That's a reason. That's one of the main reasons why, if you notice, before Stephen A. bashes somebody, he'll talk about the positive stuff. He'll run down the accolades first. You know, he does that. He's known
Right.
for that. He's a two-time champion, two-time MVP, leader in assists, leader in this, leader in that, killer on the court. He does that. But I mean, if he don't get, that's how he does. So anyway,
that is true. Now, what
he
I was
never talks about, just talking about JaVale McGee in this story, he never talks about how it encouraged him to up his game. Because when he left, I can't remember where he was playing before he went to Golden State. I can't remember, somewhere on the east. Was it Denver? Did he go to Golden State from Denver the first time? Or did he go on the East Coast and then go to Golden State?
He was in Washington first, and then I thought he went to Denver. That's what I
And then he
thought.
went to Golden State? Well,
Know.
anyway, I could look it up, but wherever he came from, it was like night and day. I remember when they signed him with Golden State, people were like, why would you sign this dude? JaVale McGee? What are they thinking? You know what they were thinking? They saw what a great potential he had. They saw what potential he had. So they saw through the Shaq and the Fool stuff. He ended up winning a chip with them.
What I was saying about the mothers, I said the mothers, I think they got like some type of union of NBA mothers because they all stick together. A lot of
them. They do. They have an organization. They actually are organized. Yep, NBA mothers. Mm-hmm.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, they do.
Because I remember Kevin Durant mom coming to his defense, and somebody else mom came to his defense.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, the things people say about Kevin Durant it's just very interesting to me. I do feel like Kevin needs to stay off social media, but I feel like all of them need to. That's just my opinion. I don't feel like they should be tweeting or doing anything. I think they should have people to do that for them. They don't need to be the ones actually writing stuff. I think that they need to leave it to the marketers. Let the social media marketers and publicists and media people do that for them. Because we know how to communicate. It's like when I start getting clients again, put my thing out and say I'm accepting clients again. That's one of the services that I offer. I can speak for you. You don't have to take the time to go bring up Twitter and send out a tweet. I'll do that for you. You just, pay me to do it. But when you're in communications, we know better what is to be said and not said. And it saves the superstar from humiliation and from being drugged on social media. You don't need that. You got other things to worry about.
That is true. That definitely is true. Speaking of marketing and going to school and stuff, let's talk about these school days. School days. Kids are in school now, and I want to talk about exactly, who was some of your best and worst teachers.
Oh, you want me to go? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so we're gonna do the best first. Let's start off with the positivity. I have a teacher. She was my 5th grade teacher. First of all, she was young. It didn't seem like she was much older than we were. Like she was fresh out of college, I think, when she was my teacher. And she was gorgeous. She was a gorgeous Black woman. And she was my teacher. She was my homeroom teacher. And I think she taught me, I think she was my English and writing teacher, reading teacher. And she is the reason why I started uh, being interested in vocabulary and words and what they really mean. I was already starting to write a little bit because my father, listen, my dad, he used to write letters to the editor all the time. You know what letters to the editor are?
No.
All right. So back when we had real newspapers, there's a editorial section, and people, regular old people, will write letters to the editor, and they would pick some and post some from whatever whoever you are, and you had to make sure you included your name and what city you live in when you would send these in. So my dad used to write letters to the editor, and it got to the point where just to spend time with him, I wanted to sit there and watch him and help him write his letters to the editor. So that's how I started. That's one of the things that started me writing in general. Shout out to Rob Whitney, the writer.
The
We all have
writer.
a writing story, don't we, Rob?
Bobby Dubs.
So thanks for being here, Bobby Dubs. Um, I used to do that with him. Well, this teacher found out about the spelling bee, right? And she said, you know, with your grades, why don't you try out for the spelling bee? Why don't you participate in the spelling bee? She said, have you ever thought about the spelling? I'm like, no, I think about the spelling bee. And so she encouraged me to enter the spelling bee. So we had a spelling bee for our school. I won. Then we had a spelling bee for the county. I won. Well, I won. Okay. I didn't win first. It was the top three, and I got second. But then I went on to the region, and I lost. I didn't make the cut. But to go that far, and the first time I was in a spelling bee, I just was like, wow. And so vocabulary words and just reading the dictionary became commonplace for me
Mm.
after that. Changed my life. For some reason, all of a sudden, I started wanting to do public speaking. I participated in the Optimist Club's oratorical contest and won a scholarship. I won, I think it was $500 to go to school towards my school, and everything. It just made me. It just changed my life. So she was my favorite. She's always been my favorite teacher. We are now friends on Facebook, and we keep in touch. And whenever anybody asks me who is your favorite teacher of all time, it is always her. And so shout out to Chingy. I'm gonna call her Chingy. That's her nickname. If you're listening, Chingy, you know how much I love you. And she changed my life. I've already told her what she's meant to me. She knows the story. I contacted her crying one day, telling her, you have no idea what you did for me, because I was shy and reserved before that. So shout out to Chinky.
Okay. Well, yeah, I had a coming out of my shell moment too. Teacher name is Miss Adams. I had her in fifth grade. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Fifth grade math, to be honest with you. She was a sixth grade teacher, but she taught fifth grade math. For math class, we had to switch classes. So our teacher was out, had an injury or something. I don't know exactly what it was. Had some type of injury. You know me, I was in class making jokes, me and the class clown. Got my work done. All my work was done, but you know. So she heard me making all the noise. She brought me over to the sixth grade class and said, you know, you making too much noise over there. You need to come over here and do some work. So she had me read in front of the class.
Oh my God.
Right, because she was trying to embarrass me. She didn't think I could read. So I got up, I read in front of the class. She was like, okay, all right. So why you over there acting a fool? I said, I got all my work done. Wasn't nothing else to do. So after that, me and her got like a better rapport. She was saying how smart I was. So she had a play like 2 years later. She had a Christmas play. And she was like, I want you to be in it. I was like, I'll be in no Christmas play. She was like, no, you could be in it. You could be Santa Claus. I said, all right, I'll try it. Whatever. I'll try it. I was like, I ain't got to do nothing crazy, do I? She said, yeah, you got to sing. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, hold up. Like, I sing in public, but I'm not no singer. Ain't what I do. She was like, oh, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. You got to sing. I went ahead, read the lines, made the cut, made the play. We did the play. The play was about a girl who wanted to be Santa Claus, but no females could be Santa Claus. They could only be Mrs. Claus. And me being the head Santa Claus, I was the one that changed the rules and let her be Santa Claus.
Oh, then.
Right. That's how the play went. So, um, I remember I was nervous, like nervous as hell. Like, so she was like, "What's wrong? You all right?" I'm like, "I'm nervous. I don't think I'm gonna do right. This ain't gonna work." And she was like, calm down. You'll be fine. Just make sure you remember your lines. When your time come up, be you. Told me all that. I had a real good time. My dad came to the play. He enjoyed it. My sister, she came. She liked it. It was pretty good. And from that point on, it was like, you know what, I'm not as shy about these things as I thought I was. You know what I mean? Like, I could
Yeah,
talk to people in a crowd, but it could just be a crowd of people. But a crowd of people that I don't know, that was like a little bit shaky for me.
right.
Yeah, but I mean, I got through it. Everything was all right. I got through it. Things was all right. We had a real good time.
You said her name was Miss Adams.
Miss Adams. Miss Adams got me out of my shell to go ahead and be Santa Claus in the play.
All right. Did you enjoy? You enjoyed it though?
Yeah, I had a good time.
Did you end up doing any more plays?
I did a couple more plays. End up hosting a couple of events. That was about it.
So you grew up in Philly,
Grew up
right?
in Philadelphia, born and raised.
So tell me about school. How was school and growing up? I guess we can talk about growing up and going to school. How was that back in your day?
Uh, I went to school in the '90s, so going to school in the '90s, the older kids had most of the problems. Us as younger kids, we didn't really have that many problems. Just usually was, you had your bullying. Well, that's what they called it. Back then, it was like, somebody talking about you. Somebody talking
Hmm.
about you, and if you don't say nothing back, you was a punk. That was it. I ain't know nothing about no bullying. It was just somebody talking about you. You don't say nothing back, you a punk. You know what I mean? If somebody come up and try to take something from you, then fight for what was yours. That's how you was taught.
Right.
So you had those things. A lot of friends you meet. You'll start to realize as you get older, they start sliding off, going into drugs. I think the weirdest time I had was going to high school. Like everybody through elementary school, because my elementary school went from kindergarten to eighth grade. So everybody through elementary school came to school every day, did what they were supposed to do. You know what I mean? You knew every day you was gonna see people. We got to high school, faded. People would just start fading. You be like, hey, motherfuckers don't come to school no more. What the fuck going on around here? Like, and I'm talking about
Right.
ninth grade, not they ain't wait to 10th, ninth grade. And it's
Mm.
crazy because um, I remember we had a ninth grade orientation. There was 500 of us in ninth grade. Assistant principal, Miss Stubbs, said it at the orientation. I'll never forget it. She was talking for a minute, but the one thing that stood out that she said at the orientation, she said, "There's 500 of y'all in here. Half of y'all ain't gonna make it to graduation.
Whoa.
Some of y'all gonna be on a 5-year plan." I'm sitting there stuck. 5-year plan. There's only 4 years in high school.
What?
So she was like, "Some of y'all gonna be on a 5-year plan." I'm like, what's the 5-year plan? I'm tapping. What she talking about 5 year plan? It's only 4 years in high school. She talking about you gonna fail. Oh no, no, I'm not. I'm getting out of here. 4 years and I'm out. I said, please, I'm not staying here. No,
Don't
five
tell
years.
me.
4
Mm-mm.
years and I'm out. I ain't doing it. 5 year plan. 5 year plan. No.
I just can't
She's
believe that she sit up there and said that.
now listen.
How encouraging is that? I mean, that ain't what you're
No, no,
supposed to
no.
be
It
saying.
wasn't that. It was trying to tell. It was one of those like get your S together. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
I
So
didn't
she's
I
trying
didn't
to.
take it like the way you saying it now. I took it like get your S together because ninth grade is where a lot of y'all fade off and mess up.
Is
And she
that what
wasn't
she
lying.
is that how she meant it though? That's how she meant it.
That's
The way
that's
that
how I
you're
was. That's
saying it.
how I got the delivery. I don't know
Oh,
about
okay.
everybody else, but I'm gonna tell you one thing:
I'm
she
just
wasn't
shocked.
lying.
I'm just shocked. I'm shocked she said it because some people. It's a wonder people didn't come down on her for saying it that way.
No, no, Miss Stubbs.
I'm not saying that I would. I'm
Miss
just
Stubbs was
saying it could be misconstrued that was a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying?
no, Miss Stubbs was she was yeah, Miss Stubbs was the truth. I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to Miss
Yeah.
Stubbs. Miss Stubbs was the truth. If you needed something, you needed help with things, you go to Miss Stubbs. Miss Stubbs was the truth. And
What what was school like in the 90s though? Like this is what I mean. And this is the reason why I'm thinking about this is because I was thinking about when I went to school. So let's just say before high school,
okay.
or even during high school, the whole time, all 12 years, we always had recess. Did y'all have recess? Did
We
y'all
had
ever have
recess.
recess?
We had recess up to eighth grade.
You did. So was this the early 90s, like 92, 3? Is that when
Yeah.
this
For
was, or
I
when
was
was
I
it?
was in school from 90 all I was getting recess from 90 all the way to about 90, what was it, 99?
Okay. So that's the whole, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, because I'm trying to figure out when they stopped recess. When did they stop recess? Because
Well,
a lot
it
of
wasn't
schools
no
don't have it.
that was only my school. Now, if you went to a middle school, you
Mm.
didn't get recess. Like if you went from elementary to a middle, you didn't get recess. The school I went to went from kindergarten to eighth grade. A
Oh,
lot of
okay, I
other
got
people's
you.
schools go to like kindergarten to like fifth grade. They graduate.
Right,
Then from sixth to eighth, they in the middle school.
right.
Right.
That's how
Yeah.
my schools were. But
Right.
we
And
had
then now if
recess
you
all
go
the way
now,
through eighth grade.
and if you go
Hmm.
to one of the middle schools, they didn't have recess. They just had lunch. So they couldn't go out play football and basketball, for a good 45 minutes and then come back in.
Right. I think our recess was 20 minutes, 25 minutes or something like that. I can't remember. But we had recess through eighth grade. I remember that. But I do know that after a while, schools were getting rid of recess. Schools were also getting rid of art and music, what you call it, wood shop, home economics. All of that was getting gotten rid of. Did you go through those classes? Did you have any of that?
We had two tech labs. We didn't do that. We didn't. To me, we didn't do as much as I felt as though we should have, being the fact that
Mm,
we was the one of the number one schools with this tech lab, which was they took two classrooms, they knocked one of the walls down, and they combined two classrooms into one, and that was one tech lab. And down the other hallway was two classrooms, knocked one of the walls down, combined to one that was the other tech lab.
mm,
So it would be other schools that would come to our school just to use the tech lab.
okay.
And that was, you
Okay.
go in there, you learn how to build certain things. We made bird houses out of cardboard and dog houses, things like that. But I, I felt as though it wasn't, to me, it wasn't never, enough learned. That's how I always
Yeah.
felt. Now,
O- OG said West Coast middle schools had recess until you get to high school. Yeah. And that's what we did too. Because, I went to school in the 80s. That's why I wanted to know what was going on in the 90s because it
right,
changed. After a while, it changed. And see, it sounded like you had the tech lab, but y'all didn't have like home ec and art. It was replaced with this tech lab, it sounds like to me. And music class, did y'all have music class?
Yeah, we had music class. And music class is where I learned about the movie Selena. We was watching. Remember, I told you we was watching the movie Selena, and I was like, I don't even know if
Wow.
this is appropriate for kids. I'm looking at J Lo booty like I know I'm in the fifth grade, but child, like, no, this
You mean
kid
to tell me
appropriate.
that's all you remember is J-Lo's booty?
J
That
Lo
was a
booty,
great movie outside of the booty.
J Lo's booty. We watched the Temptations. She didn't let us watch. Um, she didn't let us watch what you call. But we watched the Temptations movie, and we watched the Jackson 5 movie in music class.
No,
We
we didn't
learned
have
we
movies
learned
like
about
that.
different we learned about different things in music. Music teacher was pretty cool.
Now, see, our music class was music class. And what I mean by that is you learn things about music and also notes how to read music, how to sing certain songs, how to sing certain parts of songs. I mean, music, you had to participate. It didn't matter if you could sing, and it was like you didn't have a choice. You're in class, and Miss, it's just like Lean on Me. You know, the music teacher comes in and she gets on that piano and she starts directing.
Right,
That's how
right.
our musical. That's literally how our music class was.
Mine wasn't that big, but yeah, I understand the same thing though.
Yeah, ours was big, and see, our middle school was huge. It had 4 grades in it, fifth through eighth, and it was built like it was a huge building with the 2 front doors in the middle, fifth and sixth on this side, seventh and eighth on this side. It had a tunnel down at the bottom that connected the sides.
Uh huh.
And in the tunnel is where the art, music, and home ec classes and shop classes were.
Okay.
The way this school was designed, it was bad. It was the baddest. Shout out to Jefferson Township schools in Ohio, in Dayton, Ohio. Baddest school district around. It made my sister up until 8th grade. I'll always be a Bronco, even though I graduated from high school in a private school. I'm a Bronco for life. They even have me in the group
Okay.
with all the rest of the people that actually graduated from the high school. We are still in the group, and they welcome us to come to the reunions and everything
Well, let me.
because we're Broncos for life. That's how they have us. So, but anyway, shout out to my school. But that's the way the building was designed, and so we would go down in the tunnel, and the classrooms were bigger, and because they had so many different grades, that's what in those classes you might be in there with people from different grades. Is what I'm saying. You see what
Okay.
I'm saying? And it'd be like seventh and eighth graders in fifth and sixth. But if you were in the fifth grade, you wouldn't be in there with eighth graders. So it wasn't like that. But I loved it. I loved going to art class and home ec, and I learned how to make all kind of stuff in there, and it sparked my creativity. And so when I started hearing that they were starting to get rid of art class and music class, and I'm looking at the results of the children, and I know some kids that are probably older than you. I'm calling them kids, but adults now that are probably a little bit older than you. They don't know there's songs they don't. I mean, a little bit younger than you. They don't know songs that I thought all kids learn. Remember, because around Christmas time, isn't that where you learn like Up on the Housetop, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
I don't know
all
about
those
up on the
songs like that?
housetop. I don't know about up on the housetop, but
Up on
Rudolph
the
the
housetop,
no no no
reindeer falls, out jumps dear old
no
Santa Claus.
no never
You don't
heard of
remember
it.
that song?
Never
Okay,
heard
well
of it.
that was maybe
In my
that one
OG
faded away
voice,
by your time.
never heard of it.
Never
But
heard of it. Shout
we
out to
learned
OG.
that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Noel,
Hmm.
um,
The first Noel,
yeah, the first Noel,
Silent Night,
Silent Night. We
Jingle
did the Temptation.
Bells,
We did the Temptation version too. Jingle Bells.
Jingle Bell. Well, listen, our kids went through school not learning those songs. They
Yeah,
weren't
that's
taught in
fair.
the schools. See, my son graduated high school in '93, and they weren't, I'm not 93. He was born in '93. He graduated in 2011, and they were not singing those songs in this music class. And I'm like, really? So Christmas would come around, and my sister and I, family, we always sung Christmas carols in our house.
Right.
Because we sing all the time. We were a singing family. And so as they were getting older, we were realizing they weren't being taught these songs in school. So we actually had to get the words printed out, and we have these sheets with the Christmas song words on them. And we pull them out every Christmas to sing, because they don't know the words to the songs. They don't even know the songs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just feel so bad for these children. They just don't have a good childhood,
Now you was talking about,
that's wrong of me to think that, but I'm just saying, I mean, my childhood memories are just great memories of doing so many fun things that these kids do not experience anymore.
Now you was talking about your school, right? Phenomenal school sound like you went to. Now,
yeah, gym class.
My school was
gym class. Oh, gym class was off the chain. We had every sporting, whatever you want to think about, we had it. But go ahead.
My school was called James Dobson Elementary School.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever see the movie with Denzel Washington called Fallen, they shot that movie outside my school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I gotta go back and look at that.
Now, when they were shooting the movie, we was in class, but it would be teachers that wanted to see Denzel so bad. Oh, we was gonna go outside and go watch the movie. I ain't never seen Denzel at all on a movie set at all. I seen a couple other people, directors and everything, but I ain't never seen Denzel.
Wow. Whew, that's somebody I'd love to meet. We're gonna have to have another show about and put on there, who would you get all starred about meeting? Who do you want to meet? What famous people you want to meet and why? And he's one of them.
Yeah, it do depends on the school. Like, we did computer class. One of the number one computer games that everybody probably played is Oregon Trail. That was like one of the number one computer game. Yeah, Oregon Trail was like, you get to go.
We didn't have computers back. Computers weren't even invented back then, honey. Not like that. And they had mainframes that's the size of a room, but that's it.
Kids got apps now. We had floppy disks. All right, that's what we had. You had to go get floppy disks from different people. And see.
Yeah, but your floppy disks were like this, right?
No. We had the big floppy, the ones
that you had
a Polaroid picture flapping floppy disk.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. We had them ones, and then it went
before those, they were the big floppies.
Yeah, that's the ones.
There were bigger ones.
But like you got to put it
before the VCR. That, and then before that, there were no discs. It was hard drive computer, and that's it. There weren't no discs that you could remove and transport information and all that. No.
Man, you had to keep putting it in. All this, give me the floppy. You had to get a different floppy disk. Now you got them all written down. They had a floppy disk Rolodex. You had to go through. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh,
that was a lot. But then
I can tell you about a Rolodex.
Went from there to the CD-ROMs. Then you got a whole book of CDs going with you. Yeah. And then they started this apps, and I thank God for these apps.
Apps and what you call the things? What are the things called that you stick in? Oh God, the little. What do you call a little thing? Come on, help me out, Rob. What's the little thing that you put data on that you stick in your USB?
Oh, you talking about the storage drive, hard drive?
Yeah, the little, not the hard drive, the little, what you call that thing? The USB
hard drive. That's what I thought it was called.
USB drive or whatever you call it. Yeah, you put it in the USB port. Yeah, Rob. You put it in the USB port.
Trisha, I can't even think what you Trisha over there on that Sage. She on that Phil Jackson Sage.
Dennis too young.
Always talking smack. Trisha on that Phil Jackson Sage over there.
Shout out to Trisha Joy. Love you, girl. Love me some Trisha. Yeah, see, flash. That's the word I was looking for, Rob.
Flash
I
drive.
knew there was a word missing. Could not think what it was. It was a flash. It's a USB flash drive. I got all these flash drive full of info still.
Yeah.
But I have a box full of the disc you were talking about, the floppy disk, the hard little ones about this square.
Yeah. You
I
right
got a
on
box full of them
right on the
off of
top
my
of
old
it.
from the last desktop computer I had, which I no longer have, that had a drive in it that you can just pop it in.
Yeah.
And I have a whole bunch of them, and I have a bunch of discs that I need to transfer over. I have to have an external disk drive now that I attach to my laptop by USB, because they don't make laptops now that have the CD drive in them anymore.
Mine's
Did
do.
you know that? Well,
Mine's got it.
when was yours made?
I don't know. You
That's
gotta
what I'm
know.
saying. Anymore. They don't, I haven't found one in a while. When I got this computer last September, none of them in Best Buy had a disk drive in the computer.
Wow.
Not any of them.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
That is
Nope.
crazy.
But yeah, I mean, times really have changed. And if you go back to when I was in school, back to that school I was talking to you about, we didn't have computers when I was in fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. We didn't have computers.
Oh, we did.
Computers did not come out until I was around in that seventh or eighth grade age, but we didn't have them. Probably seventh, maybe eighth grade. And then when I went to high school, I remember my 10th grade year, I took a complete computer class at Wright State University. You guys can look up this university. It's called Wright State, Wright named after the Wright brothers, Wright State University in Beaver Creek, Ohio. And I took my first computer class. It was Computer Science 100. I actually still have the book. There is a reason I still have the book, because that book had a list of terms in it that I see still being used today. It's like the word CD-ROM. Do you remember what ROM meant?
Nope.
See, right? It was RAM and ROM, random access memory, and ROM, read-only memory. And I used to get them mixed up, so I kept the book all the way through college, and I still have a book. I have a lot of books from college that I still have, and I used that book in college, and so I keep it.
What was
But
your
that was the first time I even saw a computer. Did not know, how to, but I was in the 10th grade. And I remember how impacted I was by the computer. I loved the idea of it, because in 10th grade, I also took a typing class. And that's how I can type now about 90 words a minute.
I was
Because
just
of
about to
my
ask you that.
auntie,
Never mind.
because of my aunt.
I was
My
just about
aunt
to
taught
ask
me
you.
my aunt taught me how to type in her basement. She had this big IBM typewriter. And for y'all kids out there listening that don't know what a typewriter is,
Oh,
you're
I
just
know
gonna have to Google it. But trust me, it was a fascinating machine at the time. And I got up to, she had this, she taught people how to type. She's a professor. And one of the things she used to do is teach people how to type. And so I used to go, when I go visit my aunt, I would go down that basement and get that IBM out. And she had a book, and it was a book of typing lessons. And all it is practice. So I type about 90 words a minute. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I might be a little slower now. I might be down to about 80. Might be. But the fastest time I ever did on a typing test was 95 words a minute. That's the fastest I ever did on any typing test. And I've taken typing tests probably about 4 times in my life.
I think
Yeah.
I think I hit 30 words a minute.
They want you, usually if they're going to hire you for typing now, I have seen they want you to at least be able to type 35 words a minute. That's the minimum that they want you to be able to type now. They'll let you slide keyboarding at 35 words a minute. So when these computers came out, I'm like, shoot. This all I had to do was get used to how the keyboard was set up,
Yeah,
because a
I got.
typewriter didn't have like this extra number pad on the side. It didn't have print screen, scroll. It
No,
didn't
I ain't
have
had none of that.
home and in and insert. It didn't have all this stuff on it that these keyboards have.
Nah.
And like return, no, you used to have to hit the little, there's a lever on it. And you used to have to do the thing. That IBM typewriter was a beast, boy. She had a big gray one, like professional typewriter in her basement, in her
Hey
office.
Rob, I don't remember that typing program. I wasn't that interested in typing. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I just I typed and then I realized my typing was better than my writing, so I didn't have a problem listening to music and typing my paper up because that'd take me about a good hour. I ain't have a problem doing that. As long as I had my music with me, I was cool. That's all I
Yeah,
needed.
but let me tell you, that typing helped me in college. Because man, I made money typing folks' papers. Boy, I made big bank. And I lived in the athletic dorm area. All the athletes lived in 4 dorms, and I lived in one of them. And
Nice.
they didn't have time to type their papers.
No, they, first of all,
Cha-ching,
half of them couldn't.
cha-ching, cha-ching. The ones
Half,
who actually wrote their papers, because I wasn't gonna write it for them. And that was my rule. I'm not writing your paper for you. I will edit your paper. You write it. I'll I'll correct any grammar mistakes and typos. I will do that. But you're gonna write this paper. I'm not doing your work for you, and you're gonna pay me to type it. And I want my money up front. Always been a businesswoman, man. Always been a businesswoman since I was 13. We were talking last night about our first job. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. And remind me to tell you about my real first job. Just remind me to
okay.
tell you that. Don't let
Okay.
me
Now,
forget.
let's now, since we said that, all those good times, let's talk about the worst teacher you ever had.
Well, had to. Let me explain to you just a bit about where I lived. I lived in Jefferson Township, which is a suburb of Dayton, Ohio. Okay. We had a Dayton address. We got services from Dayton and stuff, but the township was a unique concept. And Jefferson Township had its own separate school district from the Dayton Public Schools. No knock on Dayton, but we were the bomb. Jefferson Township, I kid you not, was 90, I want to say probably about 95% Black. And mainly Black professional families lived in our neighborhood and in that whole area. And then a few, as you get further out into the rural parts, that's where most of the white people live. So we were 95% Black. Our teachers were 95% Black, but we had a few white teachers sprinkled here and there, and they were great teachers, great school district. But I had this teacher, fourth grade, Miss Marker, and she was a white teacher. She was actually the first, no, my first white teacher I had was my third grade writing teacher, Miss Lerner, Miss Larmer, or something. Learn start with an L. I can't remember her name. But my fourth grade teacher, Miss Marker, was a witch, a walking witch. That's what I called her. She was horrible. And the reason why I said that she was a horrible teacher is because not only was she not that great at instruction at the time. I did learn, but I learned so quickly that I knew more than what she was teaching me. Excuse me. So I was bored in her class. But not only that, but she was just mean. She was just a mean teacher to some of us. So she was the absolute worst in fourth grade to me. But what really made me hate her is one day I told you this story in our pre-show conversation. And, I'm sharing something very personal with you guys. And I don't want to get all upset about it. But this is a true story. This is what happened to little old Sharon Mullen in the 4th grade. Okay. So what happened is I'm in class. We had gone to lunch, and after lunch, we used to go to the bathroom. We get to go to the bathroom. And so we had to go by row. We had 4 rows. Row 1 goes, and she would pick different rows to go first, depending on how well you behaved at recess. Okay. So, we went to the bathroom and came back, and we're sitting in there. And after recess, we had what they called quiet time. I kid you not. And I guess that was the time to bring you down from the hype of recess. Because at recess, you running around all hot and sweating and hot and hyped up. And then you come back in the classroom and it's a little quiet time. And it's only about 20 minutes, but it's still time. And for some reason, for me, I had to use the bathroom again. I don't know if it was something I ate that day or something, but I had to use the bathroom again. Do you know this teacher would not let me go to the bathroom? I kept saying, Ms. Marker, I got to go to the bathroom. I really got to go to the bathroom. No, you don't. You just went to the bathroom. Sorry, you can't go to the bathroom. I said, but Ms. Marker, I got to do the number 2. And I told her, I got to do the number 2. She would not let me go. And I was an obedient child in school. Teacher said, don't do it. I ain't do it. Teacher say, do it. I do it. That's how I was raised. You respect authority and you do what they tell you. So I'm sitting there rocking in my seat because I got to go to the bathroom. Got to go to the bathroom. No, this was before recess. I said after. No, this was actually before we went to recess. Oh. I got it backwards that time. This is before we went to recess. So I'm sitting there rocking. And next thing you know, I couldn't hold it no more. Yes. Use the bathroom on myself right there in the seat. And it was like runny. It was like diarrhea-like. It was horrible. And I'm sitting there in it. I couldn't believe it happened. And I just put my head down on the desk and I was just crying. Bell rung for recess. Everybody got up and leaving. And they were people were laughing because they didn't know where the smell was coming from. Right? And they ran out the room, and she noticed I was sitting there. Sharon, why are you still sitting at the desk? I said, because I used to myself. And I started screaming at her. And I said, I told you I had to go to the bathroom. I told you. She said, don't tell me you use the bathroom right there. I said, I just told you I use the bathroom. She said, well, I'm going to call your parents. I said, that's right. Call them. Man, she called my mother. My mother worked, I know it took about 30 minutes to get to her office building from my school.
Sheesh.
She made it in less than that. And the next thing I know, she came walking up in the classroom. What happened? And I told her, Mom, I had to go, I'm crying. Right? She's got her, the replacement clothes and everything all in her hands, towels, washcloth, soap, because we didn't have wipes back then. There were no baby wipes. Okay. So she had to bring bar soap. I remember she brought the Dove soap, washcloth, towel, changing clothes, socks, shoes, everything. She said, what happened? I told her. And she said, are you okay? I said, no, I'm not okay. She said, can you make it to the bathroom by yourself? I said, no. So she had to help me up and walk behind me because I didn't want anybody to see. Because there was stains everywhere.
Yes, we know.
She had to walk me to the bathroom and she said, I'll be right back. She said, are you okay? Because, we had showers. We had showers, yeah. So I had to actually wash in the showers in the downstairs locker room thing by the gym. That's where I had to go. And so she went back to that. She came back to the room with me. She, after I got finished, she came back with me. And I got back in that room and she said, and let me tell you another thing. So apparently she had gone off on her while I was in the bathroom, but she saved the best for last for when I came back. And she said, now that you've all cleaned up, Sharon, she said, tell me again what happened. And I told her again. I repeated what I said, and it was exactly the same scenario. And I said, Miss Marker says that you didn't tell her that you had to use a. I said, she is lying, Mom. I did tell you I had to use the bathroom, Miss Marker. I told you I had to use the bathroom. I kept telling you, and you told me. And I went through the whole scenario. She said, let me tell you something. One thing my child is not going to do, she is not going to lie. And she said, when she tells you she has to go to the bathroom the first time, if you don't let her go to the bathroom, you're going to have to hear from me again. And she said, if I have to come back up to this school because my child wasn't allowed to go to the bathroom, you're going to have hell to pay. You do not want to see the hell that I will bring if you do this again. Not to this child right here. I can't help what you do to the rest of these children. But my child, she shouldn't even have to ask you. But okay, it's respect. Got you. But when she says she has to go, she has to go. Well, I'm sorry, Miss Mullen. I must not have heard her. I said, Miss Marker, you are lying. I said, Mom, as loud as I talk, you know good and well she heard me say. And she said, I understand, Sharon. It's okay. I got it. And so we went to the principal's office and she talked to the principal. She said she either needs to be reprimanded or fired. Wow. And she was reprimanded. Only thing I know, 2 or 3 days that next week, she wasn't at school. That's all I know. We had a substitute.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't have.
Mama wasn't playing, but I was so mad at her. That was 4th grade. 5th grade, Miss McKinney, math teacher, was just mean. And she tried to make math as hard as it could be. Another white teacher. She was good, but she was mean. But I didn't hate her more than Miss Marker. Because what I did what I said JaVale McGee should have done. I used that to make me better at math. Because my sister's 4 years older than me. So everything she used to learn at school, she would come home and teach me. But she didn't really like math. So math, she didn't teach me a whole lot of math 4 years ahead. But she did teach me the lesser math. So by the time we got to, I think it was geometry. We were learning geometry in the 6th grade, right?
Right.
And I couldn't grasp geometry. For some reason, it was more difficult. And she was not making it easy. Mom had to come up to the school. And she said, when she asked, the thing was when I would ask for help, she would mock me instead of helping me. That was the issue. But I got through that. 6th grade, I had the meanest teacher on earth, and she was a Black teacher. Now remember, I don't act up in school. I might have had too much mouth at home, but I ain't act up in school. Never got in trouble. And this woman was so mean, Mom had to come up to the school and straighten her out about trying to make me an example of me in class, and I ain't even done nothing. So Miss Marker, so 4th, 5th, and 6th grade was tough for me.
I acted up in school. I ain't gonna sit there and tell that lie.
I didn't do it. I didn't act up in school.
I didn't really have too many teachers. One teacher that I say had one of them JaVale McGee moments on me was Mr. Zimmerman. Mr. Zimmerman. I always thought I don't care what I say. I always thought Mr. Zimmerman was on that powder. I thought he was hitting that powder. All right.
Why'd you think that?
Because Mr. Zimmerman, how those times teachers eat lunch, and if you go by their classroom, you'll see them eating lunch. Working on papers. This dude would be sitting on the floor, feeding himself grapes with all the windows up in his room. It's cold as shit outside. He got all the windows up in his room, short
Damn.
sleeves on, laying down, feeding himself grapes. I said, Mr. Zimmerman is on dope. I don't care what nobody talking about. He on dope. Who you know
That
do some
sound
stuff like this? But the crazy thing
that
was
sound
he
like
was
Quaaludes, Dennis. That's a
I,
Quaalude type of behavior.
you call it whatever it is.
Quaaludes,
All,
you have what you call them things? Hallucinations and shit. So you be sitting there doing. Now I've never taken Quaaludes. Let me get that straight. This is what I hear. That when you on Quaaludes, you be doing all kind of stuff you ordinarily wouldn't do. That was
right.
the drug of choice of them women that messed with Bill Cosby. See,
Oh.
that's how I know. But go ahead.
So Mr. Zimmerman also now this is a unique guy because he was also on Jeopardy for one episode. Made it to
What?
Jeopardy. Yeah, Mr. Zim was smart as mother. Zim was smart, but Zim ain't take no shit. That was the thing about Zimmerman. Zim ain't take no shit. So if you acting up in his class, immediately he had this thing where he'll deduct points from you, and you'll be down 1,000 Zim bucks. That's what he called them, Zim bucks. You'll be down 1,000 Zim bucks. You know what I mean? And that's all you knew, that you was down 1,000 Zim bucks. So I'm like, all right, man, this dude is a little crazy, but he helped me improve my vocabulary because you know his class. That's what his class. It was an English class, and his class, it was to help improve your vocabulary. So the first year I had him, I almost failed, but I passed the class. So I had him again when I got in 11th grade, and I said, all right, no, listen, this you got me last time. This time I'm coming in here, I'm getting this thing together. And midway through the year, he was like, you know something, Mr. Holmes, you ain't the same guy you was in 9th grade, man. You really matured yourself. It's like these grades you get in this class is outstanding. I said, well, thank you very much, Zim. But it was a challenge. It was like, no, you're not getting me this time. You got me last time. You're not getting me this time. Not doing it. But the one thing that I did hate, he wasn't my teacher, but he was it was graduation practice. So we had to do graduation practice with the JROTC teacher. I ain't never meet the dude. I ain't never want to be in JROTC. Wasn't my thing. They was selling them dreams to everybody. Don't sell me them dreams. I'm cool. So we get there. He trying to, police the classroom, be the sergeant, tell us we ain't gonna graduate if we don't listen to him. I said, let me tell you something, player. I'm walking down this aisle, whether you like it or not. Okay? I said, if you don't like it, me and my dad will be here, and we gonna let you know that I'm walking down this aisle, whether you like it or not. I already passed the class. Ain't nothing you can do but hand me my diploma. He ain't like that. He ain't like it all. He kicked me out. So I would purposely come to graduation practice late. I mean, one time I came in so late, they was calling my name. I'm walking right in. Like they called my name for graduation practice. And Dennis Holmes, I walked right in the doors, walked right in. He was mad as hell. Where did you come from? Hey, you don't even know what we doing. I said, player, this is how I'm coming to the joint. I'm gonna be right there like this. He was pissed. This was nothing he could do. He was pissed. He was like, you're gonna be kicked out of graduation. You get the school police. They come see me. They know me for 4 years. He never met me. All he did was stay in the basement and talk to JLTC people. So the graduation came. He gave my diploma and everything. He wanted to be all extra nice. Hey man, I'm glad you. No, don't shake my hand,
No,
buddy.
no.
My paper, don't shake my hand. I ain't none of that. So my dad was like, "Why you ain't shake his hand?" Like that. What I really want to say is, man, fuck him. But all that extra he tried to get me to go through. This graduation practice. This is supposed to be a good time. It's supposed to be in here with no extra sergeant slaughter and shit. Like, who are you? Well, I'm trying to find out. Or tell me I wasn't gonna graduate. I'm like, Miss Stubbs told me in 9th grade it was gonna be a 5-year plan. I ain't make that 5-year plan. What's up with you?
4 year, 4.
4 years. That's all. 4, and I'm out the door. That used to be my joint. 4 and I'm out the door.
Did you like school? I love
I
school.
love school. I went to school every day. That's the crazy thing though, Sharon. I grew up in a neighborhood that was bad, Kensington, Allegheny. It was top 5 in worst neighborhoods in America at one point.
What?
It might still be because it's a
What's the
crack
name of the
infested
area?
Kensington and Allegheny. It's a crack infested neighborhood.
Kennison
So I,
and
I I
Allegheny.
didn't always grow up there, but I got there once I got ninth grade, high school. My mom moved in that area, and it's called the Badlands.
Okay, I've heard you say that before.
It's called the Badlands. So when I moved
Mhm.
there, I was going to school every day, but it was only me and somebody else going to school every day. I come back home from school, everybody that's my age outside, been outside all day, and they like, yo man, where you be going every day? You go to work? No, I go to school. Where you go to school at?
Oh, school.
I go to school, Roxborough High School. He's like, yo, you go all the way over there to go to school? Yeah. And you go every day? Yeah. I go to school every day. I don't miss no days of school.
Wow.
Now, mind you, that this is when I first started hearing about night school. All these niggas went to night school. Yeah, it's my first time hearing about night school. I ain't know nothing about no night school. I said, what time does night school start? They like around like 5. Then we done around like 8. So what the fuck is night? I was like, what is this night school shit? I'm like, what is this like? And supposedly everybody go. It's 6 o'clock. Them niggas still here with me. We talk about night school. I said, okay, so y'all ain't going today. Just get that out the way. So y'all ain't going today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, okay, y'all not going tomorrow either.
It's
Okay.
6 o'clock, brother.
Yeah, it's since I
Why
listen.
ain't you at school,
You
player?
ain't obviously you wasn't going that day, and they just kept talking about it. I was like, why do y'all go to night school? Like, what fuck going on in life? Like, I mean,
Are
I'm
you
like,
in, are you taking college classes? I mean, what? I don't
I'm sitting there
understand.
talking to her, I'm like, so you mean to tell me you miss all them pretty girls during the day? They go to night school with a bunch of dudes? It was like it'd be a bunch of pretty girls. I
Mm.
said, listen, I don't know about your school, but my school had a lot of pretty girls in it. We had a group of girls that was named the Dub Squad. That's what they named themselves. I'm telling you,
Mm.
Sharon, right now, and I don't even mean to call these girls bees, but all these bitches was bad. Okay, let me tell you something. All of them, and they all was like that. They was the shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. All of them was bad. And all of them was the shit. It wasn't an ugly girl in their club. That's what I'm telling you. But none of them ugly. I was like, God, when it was like it had to be about 30 of them. But none of them ugly. They was the Dub Squad. One of them actually made it to the Bad Girls Club.
I should have been in there.
Her
Go
name is
ahead.
Katia Washington.
Her name is what?
Katia Washington. She made it to the Bad Girls
Katia.
Club.
Okay.
Drake wrote a song about her. They said,
Okay.
yeah, they call her Miss Cat now.
Oh.
So if you look
Oh,
her
okay. I
up,
know who you talking about. I know
so
who you talking about now.
if you look her up,
Okay.
you'll see she's been in a couple videos and everything. Yeah, but all of them was bad. I was like, man, shit, I'm going to school today. For all them girls in school, I'm going to school. What y'all talking about? I go to school, get these grades, and I'm playing football. That's it. That's all I knew. I'm playing football every year. Get my grades up, going to school, I'm playing football every year. That's all I knew all the time. I'm going to play football. But nobody was going to school. Like it was crazy.
I just can't even believe they would offer night school for high schoolers. That's crazy.
That listen, threw
What
me
kind of
off.
fracadaggle bull is that?
I
That's
never
what I
been.
got to say.
I never been. So I don't even know if they was telling me the truth or not. Cause I never been. So and then after a while, they actually started going to school. Them same ones that was like dropping out, they actually started going to school. I want to say I was an influence, but I don't think they will ever admit that. But I want to say I was an influence because I was going to school every day and I was going way out of town. Like I'm at least I had to be at least 25 miles away from the school I was going to.
Wow.
Literally had to catch 3 buses to get to school. But I love going to school.
I love school.
It was something
That's
different every
why
day.
that's why
And
I
then we
didn't
used
that's
to
why I didn't misbehave. I'm like,
no I
and that's
misbehave
why,
all the time.
when I had teachers trying to say I did, so I didn't. I didn't do that.
Oh, I misbehave all the time. I had an
Mm-mm.
art teacher. Had an art teacher. She used to play old school music because she didn't think nobody knew it. I knew every fucking song. She was surprised I knew every. She said, "How do you know all these songs?" Oh, that's because my dad. My dad listened to all this.
Yeah, you do know some songs
Yeah, I know every
from
song.
before your time. You sure do. Some songs.
Yeah.
It's the only time I ever got in trouble in middle school was when I was in 6th grade. And this dude, shout out to Bob, he knows who he is, walked past me while I was standing at the locker and he palmed my butt.
Oh yeah.
And see, I've always been the type person, I don't like anybody touching me that's not supposed to have their hands on. Don't touch me. You
So
don't
you
know
two
me. Don't
piecing?
touch me.
You two piecing?
I have a thing about that. Don't be touching on me. And he walked, I mean, he palmed my butt hard. And I didn't even know him. Didn't know him. And I turned, ran up behind that dude because he kept walking like he didn't do it. And I ran up behind him. I knocked him cold out in his back, and I started whooping on him like I was about to throw him in a locker. And the principal had to come run. I could see Mr. Mundell running down the hallway. Sharon, stop! That's the only time I ever got in trouble. I got paddling for that.
You got what?
Because I shouldn't have been fighting. I shouldn't have been
Time out.
fighting.
Time out. Time. You got what?
Paddling.
What the
I
hell's
got two.
pad? You got your ass
I
whipped?
got. I got 2 licks, and he got 2 licks.
Nah, that wouldn't have happened. That
He
wouldn't have
got two
happened.
licks. I got 2 licks.
That wouldn't have happened in my
Well, the
school.
only
I remember.
reason why I got 2 licks is because when he told me to get off of him, I pushed him. See, I shouldn't have done that. That's the only reason
You
why I
pushed the
got 2 licks.
principal.
The principal, because the principal was a little man. He was short. He was only like 5'2". He was a short. I was taller than him in 6th grade. That's how short he was.
Yeah.
And so, when I go crazy like that, and I didn't know it was him necessarily holding me, and I pushed him off of me. So he had to give me a paddling for that. I didn't get a paddling because of the fight. I got a paddling more for pushing him.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was well, I ended up being his girlfriend after that. But that's another story. That's the only time I got a paddling.
That sound like the wood.
Yeah.
That sound like the wood.
Similar. But yeah, I ended up being his girlfriend all the way through high school. But that's another story. We'll talk about old boyfriends and high school loves and stuff later. But anyway, that's that. But growing up for me was cool. I grew up in the 70s. Grew up in the 70s. 70s was a great time. You could walk around outside all day. Your mom and dad didn't have to worry about somebody coming up in a van trying to kidnap you and molest you or nothing. You didn't have to worry about that stuff. You really didn't.
I didn't know none of that was going on.
I could walk to the corner store. The Atlanta child murders did happen in the 80s. I think it was the early 80s. I can't remember. It might have started in the 70s. I don't remember.
It might. That's what I said. That stuff.
But that started with that.
That van service stuff that's going on. That might have started. They might have been doing that in the 90s. But like I said, I didn't know what was going on. If somebody ain't come to school for a couple of days, we always thought they just transferred or they moved somewhere else.
Mm-mm. Well, I can just tell you, I didn't have any problems going anywhere. We could go to the corner store. You know how you hear people my age talk about how your parents would expect you to go outside and you come back in. Look, you ain't going running back in back and forth in and out. You stay out, stay in. That's what they expected. They meant it. And we would stay outside, kicking it all day around the neighborhood and back. We didn't have to worry about being molested, strangled, kidnapped, none of that mess. I didn't live in a drug infested, gang neighborhood, none of that. I didn't have that in Jefferson Township. We didn't have that.
Wow.
So we could go anywhere.
That's when I was with my mom.
But it was the suburbs though. It was the suburbs. So when I moved from the city, see, when I was in 1st grade, we moved from the city of Dayton to the township. When I was in the city, That's when I was walking to the corner stores and stuff because we had corner stores. In the township, there wasn't a corner store right near my house in the area of the township that I lived in. So when I went outside, it was to play. I wasn't going to the store. I was playing.
Right.
I used to walk to school when I was in first grade. We would walk to school and it was far. It wasn't close. You had to walk across a couple of busy streets and along a path and through a industrial parking lot and all kind of stuff. But we could do that. But in the township, I had to take the bus because our school building was the middle school was back out in the country part. The elementary school was closer to the neighborhoods, but not my neighborhood. So we had to take a bus. But yeah, I love school, love growing up there. Um, Good teachers. Then when I went to high school, I went to a predominantly white private Catholic high school.
All my schools was predominantly white.
Mine wasn't. Like I
Yeah.
told you, the township, 95% black. So from eighth grade, I went to going to school with all these black people. Ninth grade, all these white people. So when I was in high school, we had 1,500 people, like around 1,500 students in the school across 4 grades. We
Oh, that's a
had
little ass
I
high school you had.
it was what?
That's a little ass high school you was in. Fifteen
Well,
hundred. We
I
had
guess
500.
compared
I told you we had 500 in ninth grade.
I guess compared to you, yeah, we had 380 something students in my class.
That's how many y'all
300 and
graduated.
by the time we graduated, it was 300 and something, 380 something. Eight black.
My graduation
Did you
was
hear me?
230. 230 was
Eight,
238. 238.
eight, eight black students. I was one of eight
Oh
in my
no,
grade in the class of 84.
it might have been fucking like
My
45
sister
white
went
students.
there. She was class of 80.
Right.
And so that school is like that now.
Yeah, what
It's
was your
like that even
graduation
now.
song? Diana Ross, I'm coming out.
No,
Uh,
we didn't have a graduation song.
oh yeah, that's right. You went to a white school. You did say that.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't have that. But I can tell you what our prom song was. Gosh, that stupid ass Nirvana song. What was that stupid song?
I don't know that.
I can see that. I can hear it. Oh my God. What was the name of that song? It's when grunge music came out.
You got to look that. Let me. While you looking that up, let me tell
It's
you.
not Smell Like Teen Spirit. It wasn't
Let me
that.
tell
Hold
you.
on.
Tell you my neighborhoods. You know, the one on my dad's. I told you one of my mom. You know where my mom moved to. But when I was in elementary school, when I first started high school, on my dad's side, I lived in Germantown. In Germantown, you know, there was drugs there, but mostly they was sold by my cousins. There was killers there, and most of them was my cousins
Mm-mm.
too.
It was that.
You know, it wasn't too much. We always like walked in groups though, because a bunch of us went to the same school, so we always just we walk to the bus stop together, get on the bus, go to school. That's how we did it. We stayed in a group,
Uh-huh.
and I think it was
It
about
is
I think
that
it's about
song.
I think it's about 8 of us. What was the name of the song?
Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Oh, okay.
No, that was our, you know what? That was our graduation song. That was our graduation song.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to say it was that. I could be wrong, but I think it's that. But go ahead, what you were saying.
Yeah, it was about 8 of us. We all walked together to school every day.
No, we couldn't. By that time, we couldn't. Yeah, we
That
couldn't.
was that was only until we got to high school. When we got to high school, everybody went their separate ways. Nobody went to the same high school. Everybody went their separate ways. Now I went to the high school that was up the street from the elementary school I went to. So James Dobson was down the bottom. Up the hill was Roxborough High School. And I mean it's
Okay.
up the hill.
Uh-huh.
It ain't no light walk. It's a walk up the hill. All right.
It's like a walk.
It's a
So
walk.
you
It's a
had to
walk.
walk.
It's a walk up the hill. One of them exercise
Okay, but
hikes you want to take.
wait a minute. You from Philly? That's a snowy city. Did
Yeah.
you have to walk in the snow?
Yeah.
Like 6 inches of snow?
Yeah.
I keep telling people they don't believe me when I say that. They say I'm telling one of them old people stories.
No, they ain't no
But
old people
you
story.
know how down here in North Carolina, if there is a threat of 2 inches of snow, they will close school the day before.
2 inches.
Hear
It
me?
ain't got to be 2 inches here at all. It could be
Wait a minute.
fucking half.
I said threat of. It doesn't even have to fall yet.
Never mind.
Threat of 2 inches, and they will shut down school for the next day. There's no school tomorrow because of there may be 2 inches, so there's no school. Well, this is North Carolina. They only got 10 salt trucks in the whole freaking state. So that's why they can't handle snow. And so when I tell people, listen, it could be 6, 8 inches of snow. Alta High School was open.
No, the high school wasn't open.
Alta High School was in Kettering, Ohio. Kettering public schools would be closed. Alta would be open. Even though we got to go through Kettering to get into the school, Kettering public schools would be closed, and I kid you not, Alta High School was open. So I had to be on Jefferson Township schools closed because it was Jefferson Township buses that used to take us the hour ride. Because on a bus it's an hour because you got to stop and pick up people.
Yeah.
on your way to Alta.
Did y'all drive? No. Did y'all drive to the projects to pick up people at the projects?
No.
Oh. And we did that. We used to drive to.
See, they had the Dayton Public buses did that. See, they came through project areas and stuff. But there was no projects in the township.
Yeah, we had to go through the projects, pick up East Falls. Man, it was
6, 8 inches. That didn't mean nothing. We had to find our way. If Jefferson Township schools were closed, that means there were no buses running. So mom had to take us to school. Why? Because she worked at Kettering Public Schools administration building, which took 3 minutes to get from my high school to her office. She was 3 minutes away. So she would have to take me to school and pick me up. If it was, but stay home, it was rare that our school was closed because of snow.
Well,
6, 8, 10 inch didn't matter.
Well, I mean, you wasn't up there then, but that blizzard in '96, I think we was home for 3 weeks.
Yes, because I was in Maryland in '96, and there was 22 inches of snow.
Man.
No, I'm sorry, that's not right. It was 18 inches of snow. It was 22 inches in the winter of '99 here in Raleigh. In North Carolina.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dayton, Ohio, from the same storm got 16 inches of snow. We got 22. I have a picture. I was driving a Chevy Impala. You know, a Chevy Impala is a big body car.
Yeah.
Totally covered in snow. So what I did is I took something and scraped the top, like right where the window and the roof are. I just scraped it off so that you could see it, that it's really a car in here. And stood next to it. My son took a picture of me standing next to my car covered in 22 inches of snow. I couldn't believe it. In North Carolina.
That snow game was great. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. Now, they would cancel school. I don't remember exactly what inch it was. But if the roads was messed up, like you in my day, you had to watch the 11 o'clock news, or you had to listen to the 5 a.m. radio show to find out if you had school the next day. It wasn't no school calling your phone oh yeah, there's no school today. Don't send
Oh
your kids to
no,
school.
no, we didn't have that
No, you
technology calling your phone mess. No, you
no
had to watch the news and you had
exactly.
to watch the
Yes,
little crawler.
right.
Yeah, 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 and watch the
Exactly.
news. Hmm.
That's how you had to know if you had school that day.
And before the crawler, you had to actually call the school.
Mm.
You had to call the school because you know we did have answering machines, so you had to call the school to see if they left a message.
And my the crazy thing is my school that I work at right now, that I'm currently working at right now. If it's even a threat, if it's too much rain, there won't be no school.
Rain in Philadelphia?
If it's too much rain, there won't be no school. They'll close school for some of the craziest things ever. If
Surprised
it's
by that.
supposed to snow, oh no, we're not having school tomorrow.
Well, yeah, that's what they do here. Like I said, they if it's a threat, it might be 2 inches. It might be heavy rain or heavy storms. One time they closed school early because we were supposed to get storms at about 1:30. So they closed the school at noon.
That's crazy.
I kid you not. Storm came through. It was like windy for about 15 minutes. Done. And they at home. The parents were mad. I'm like, look, they're doing what they have to do because see, y'all parents are these newfangled parents are crazy now.
Yeah.
They want the school districts to be meteorologists, psychics, and some more stuff. Because
Yeah.
after the fact, they always got something to say, no matter what they do. If they don't send the kids home, they're mad. If they send the kids home and nothing happened, they mad. It's just crazy. You can't please them now.
Can't please them. You can't please them. And
Mm-mm.
the one
No.
I remember, like, okay, this is another reason why I say Mr. Zimmerman was on dope. This is another reason why I say this, right? We in ninth grade. It's a big storm coming. I think it don't hit until like I want to say 9 o'clock that morning. Again, he got
Mm.
all the windows up. It's snowing cats and fucking dogs outside. He got all the windows up, right? He in there with a t-shirt on. Everybody else in their hoodie, they cold as a motherfucker. He in there with a t-shirt on, just walking around. Students, and he always tapped his nose. I say, he on that powder.
Yeah, yeah,
He on
that's
that powder.
cool.
I don't care if nobody say he on that
Yeah, he
powder.
on it. Yeah,
He on
I
that
agree.
powder. And it was funny because he had skis.
For
He had
real?
skis in his room, and we like
In his room?
in his room.
Wow.
This particular day, yeah, I'm like, where the fuck is he going skiing at? The snow came. We got out of school early because the snow was too bad. The buses, now mind you, our school on the hill.
Right.
Roxborough and Manayunk is full of hills. Just to let you know this, full of a bunch of hills.
Mhm.
So the buses stopped running. So now we walking. I ain't gonna lie to you. I damn near walked home from Roxborough High School all the way to, I think I went to Shelton Avenue, Shelton and Germantown Shelton. I went all the way to Germantown Shelton. Rob watching, so Rob knows exactly how far I walk. We walked that whole way. Get down there, and the buses start running. The snow cleared up a little bit. It got a little bit better. And I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, yo, Mr. Zimmerman must be on some dope. I just walked this whole thing. This dude in the classroom with a t-shirt on with all the windows up. I can't never get over that. He always had all the windows up. I think he had at least 6 windows in his classroom, all of them up. And the first day of school, I remember the first class that you had, Mr. Zimmerman. He would chainsaw. He'd bring a chainsaw and cut a dictionary in half. That was his demonstration. He would cut a dictionary in half. Next time I had Dustin on the show, he'll tell you about Mr. Zimmerman. That was Mr. Zimmerman. He would cut a dictionary in half.
That's like cutting a Bible to me. You don't cut a dictionary? You
And
you
it's
know
great.
how I feel about words. You see me grabbing.
The reason I know
I'm
words
feeling like Red
because
Fox, like, hey, I'm coming to join you. You don't do that to no dictionary.
you cut a dictionary right in hand first day. I'm telling you, and it
Why?
was just one. I
Why?
don't have a clue. I
I think
still don't know.
he probably just wanted to shock y'all, make y'all think he crazy or something. He
No,
probably
he was
just wanted
crazy.
to
It wasn't
shock
no thing.
y'all.
He was
What are
crazy.
you doing with a chainsaw in the classroom?
Yeah, he was crazy. That was just him.
Philadelphia, Philadelphia, Philadelphia. Wow, man.
I'm
But it
next
sounds
time.
like, our school experiences are not as different as I thought you would say.
No,
It's like so high school lunch period. Our lunch period was 22 minutes. How long was yours?
no, ours was longer than that.
Yeah, 22
Yeah,
minutes. That's all we got.
no, it was longer than that. I know it was longer than that because I spent 20 minutes in the hoagie line. I know that because it was always them certain girls. Well, I want this on my hoagie. Is the tuna fish as good as they? You know the
Oh,
fucking
wait,
tuna ain't that.
hold
This
time
nigga.
out. Hold time out. They made hoagies to order.
Yeah.
Oh no, hell no. You didn't get that. You got the hoagie. You
No,
didn't get to choose what you wanted on it.
we got the hoagies to order.
No, hell no. See, y'all pampered. That's what's wrong with y'all. See, that's
Yeah,
what's wrong with these damn
we
millennials.
got ours to order. See,
Listen,
my shit was simple. I used to tell them,
the thing,
they knew
you
when I
pick
came
what
through
you
the
want.
line. They knew when I came through the line. My shit was simple. I want mine with everything on it. I get mine and
Cool, but we ain't get to do that. When
yeah.
you got a sandwich, you get to the condiment station. You can put condiments on it if you want it. But you couldn't stand up in the line and order nothing.
Oh yeah, you get mayonnaise.
And they had, the little
mustard.
packets of ketchup and mustard, and so you can get that mayonnaise. You can get that if you want it. But we didn't stand in line. Oh, I want this on it and put a little bit more. No, we didn't get to do that. What you talking about?
We had 3 different lines. Everybody else got like these well, not in the school I work at, but everybody else that I told was going to school, they had like 4 or 5 lines. We only had 3. We had the hot line, the cold line was the hoagie line. The hot line, usually either had pizza, chicken nuggets, French fries, and everybody wanted cheese on everything. Cheese sauce. So, it was always a bunch of cheese sauce everywhere. Now the third line is if you had some money. You see people over there getting slushies, cookies, ordering chicken wings.
We had that mess in school back when that's why I
Yeah,
see that's why y'all unfit. See?
yeah. You get
Slushies,
sodas. Yeah,
soda. We ain't
sodas,
had no soda in school.
sodas. We had soda machines too. One day the soda machine.
No,
One day the soda
no,
machine got
no,
had the joint unlocked. He
nope.
unlocked it. I took all the sodas out that motherfucker. I had them in my locker.
I would have
I,
too, but
I had
no,
them in
we
my
didn't have
locker.
that. We
See,
didn't have that. Let me tell
yeah,
you. Let me explain. We had one line, lunch line, one line. A lot of people brought their lunches. To be honest with you, a lot of people brought their lunches, but I didn't. I do half and half. Sometime I would, sometime I wouldn't. But we had one line. We had 4 lunch periods.
fine,
That's why they were only 22 minutes. 4.
fine.
And remember, it's only 1,500 people around 50. I'm saying 1,500. It might have been a little more or a little less. We only had that many students in the whole school. And so yeah, one line. And then your choices for drinks was milk and chocolate milk.
Yeah, those are 4
That's it.
choices.
Milk,
Some
chocolate
days,
milk. But our food was delicious. Let me tell y'all something else. Remember I was talking to y'all last night and I mentioned something that I had never had? Don't say out loud. Remember I said I had never had last night?
mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me tell you something else I've never experienced. I have never been in school that had bad food. Never. No. Jefferson Township schools. Shout out to all the lunch ladies and men in Jefferson Township schools because our lunches were always delicious. Alter High School was delicious. And when I went to Michigan State, the best food in the country. They were ranked as the #1 residence hall system in the nation when I went there. And that included their food. And I mean, it was like going to a buffet. It was Golden Corral up in that mug. Every day, every meal. Anything you could imagine that you wanted for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Anything. All kind of drinks. So I mentioned chocolate milk and regular milk, right?
Right.
Not only did we have chocolate and regular milk, we had all four kinds of juices, coffee, tea, soda, fruit punch, lemonade, all of that. It was the drink station had 5 sections in the drink station. It was I remember it was in the center of the cafeteria. The whole thing was drinks all around. They had like 4 milk machines, 4 soda machines, 4 lemonade and fruit punch machines, 4 coffees and tea machines.
That was in high school?
This is in college. This was in Michigan State.
Because I was like, I don't think we had coffee and tea in high school.
Yeah, we had all of that. Remember in high school, only milk. That's all you did. That was your choice. Milk, chocolate milk. That's it.
Okay.
Bottles of water wasn't even a thing then.
No.
There was no bottles of water and all the stuff they do now. Chocolate milk, milk. Didn't want that? Bring your own. That's how it was. But the food was delicious. But Michigan State had everything, every meal. That's what I miss the most about going to school, is that meal. Being able to get out of my bed, take a shower, get dressed, and roll up to the caf and food ready made, good food, all kinds of food, everything that you want. Right. Oh, I miss that. I ain't had to cook nothing, just walk upstairs.
Right.
Because the caf was like upstairs in the residence. You had to go up the flights of stairs in this huge room. It was like a big cafeteria. And so anyway, that was college. But high school, yeah, that was it. Chocolate milk and milk.
And now, I told you about the 3 lines in high school. Like, the third line was the pay line. That was when now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, our pay line was separate. Yep.
Yeah. Now,
you gotta go pay.
In high school, the hotline, I'm gonna say once every 2 months. It'd be chicken day. You know it's chicken day because the line out the motherfucking door. That's how you know it's chicken day.
When you say chicken, you mean chicken sandwich, chicken wings,
fried chicken wings.
Fried chicken wings or fried chicken pieces?
Oh, no, fried chicken wings. They was wings.
Yeah, we ain't had that.
They was wings.
I don't ever remember ever having fried chicken in my life.
And you knew it was fried chicken. You knew it was fried chicken day because that line would be out the door, and the hoagie line would be slim. So I always was at the hoagie line. That was my spot.
So was the hoagie line the cold line?
That's a cold line. Cold line was a hoagie line.
Wow. I'm just amazed by this. Look, y'all, if y'all watching, I know we're going in on this food real serious, but I mean, this is a real conversation that Dennis and I are having. We didn't talk about this beforehand. And that's why I wanted to do this show, because I really was interested to know what your experiences were versus mine. I don't know. I just came up with a revelation one day. I was like, I wonder what that was like for him. That'd be a good topic to talk about on the show, because I know it's different. My sister and I often talk about our childhood and how unique it was when you compare it to many of our friends. Very different. And that's why I wanted to talk to you about this today, because I was like, there had to be some difference.
Well, I stopped getting mine on like a hoagie bread, which is, I guess y'all would call it subs. I stopped getting mine on sub bread, and I started getting it in wraps.
Why?
Wraps. I don't know. I like the wraps better. It just look better. You know what I mean? And it came with my potato chips on the side. And some days it'll be juice there, some days it won't.
We didn't have wraps back then.
Yeah, we got mine.
Never saw a tortilla shell until I went to Michigan State.
Yeah, I always got mine in wrap.
We didn't do that.
And then I always went to study hall, because study hall was where all all the football players from the study hall, try to get our work done for
Did you
school.
have the school pizzas? You know,
Yeah.
the typical school pieces, the big rectangular square, rectangular school pieces.
Well, then they did them a little different. They had some later on that was shaped like boats. You know what I mean? Like it looked like a boat. That's what it looked like to me. They
What you
had some
talking
that was
about?
shaped
What
like
you
a
talking
boat.
about, Dennis? What you talking about, Dennis? Boat shaped pizza?
Oh
What
yeah,
are
like
you
a
talking
boat
about?
shaped pizza. That's what it looked like, a boat. why you looking like that?
Because I can't imagine how a
I
slice of
can't.
pizza look like a
I would
boat.
have to show you because I always called it. Oh, they got the boat pizzas today, and everybody knew what I was talking about. So it was
Rob, can you get a B? What you call B Dub? Whatever you call
Bobby Dubs.
Bobby Dubs. Can you help me out because I don't understand what Dennis talking about with this boat
Yeah,
pizza? What you talking about,
it
Dennis?
was some pizzas that were
How
shaped
is
like
it
a
shaped
boat.
like a boat?
Yeah, they did it in like all right. Let's just say they took a sub, a hoagie sub, right? Right. You know how the hoagie sub is like that. You put the
Right,
mayonnaise on both sides, and okay, they just
right.
took one half off. Let's just say they took one half off. They put the sauce and the cheese on it, and that was the pizza. But it would look like that's not what they did. But I'm just showing you what it looked like. It's not what they did, but I'm just showing you what it looked like.
That sounds kind of suspect.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't
They
know if
had
I would have liked that. I don't
they
know.
had those which I call the boats, and what other
No,
ones did they have?
no, we had the school pizza.
And then in high school we had sliced pizza. You get a
Yeah,
slice
we had in high school we had the school the big rectangular slices of pizza.
looking like
It was
Elios.
good,
Yours look like
man.
Elios.
This shit was good. That was some good pizza. I'm
Man,
telling you, we had some good food. Cause see, we got our food from the Kettering Public School, and my mom was over that program. So I knew we were gonna have some good food.
man. Food was good. Food was good in high school. The only time I didn't like food was more so elementary. It was a lot of because they started doing crazy stuff like milk came in a bag. I'm talking about like how people be playing cornhole, them cornhole bags. Milk came in a bag like that, and you would
That you
stab
would drink
you would stab it with a straw and drink it like that.
like the juice boxes, like
Yeah,
them. What are
no,
them
like a
things used to
bag.
call?
You play
Right.
cornhole, right? Them
Wait a
bags,
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. What are those juices called now? You can buy them in the grocery store, and
Capri
they're
Suns,
little pouches. They're little pouches, and you just stick a straw in them.
Capri Suns.
Yeah, yeah, I guess they are called that. So it was like that, but they're I mean not made of foil, but
No,
the
it was in a
same type of
bag. It was in
concept.
a
It was a bag
bag,
like the cornhole bag,
like the cornhole
like a
bag.
like a sandbag.
Exactly.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is weird. I've never
Uh,
seen that.
Like I said, they were starting to do some weird things. You know what I
We
mean?
had the little cartons, little cartons of milk, the
Yeah,
little
we
individual
that's
cartons,
what we get the kids now, cartons. But
little 4 ounces of milk.
right,
Hmm. I
but
think it
yeah,
was four
that's what they was
ounces.
doing.
Don't give me a line. I think it was 4 ounces anyway. Did y'all school serve breakfast at any time? Did you ever have a
It wasn't
school
nothing
that
crazy.
served breakfast?
Either you got
Uh-huh.
like a donut, cereal, fruit, muffin. It was nothing. Pop
They
tarts.
used
We
to
got pop tarts.
we didn't have that. So y'all got what I call instant food. I
Yeah,
call that instant food. For our when they started doing breakfast, it would be stuff like cheese toast. You could have cheese toast, fruit, orange juice, milk, of course. And they would have stuff like they did have donuts or danishes, and I think they used to have bacon and sausage. You could have a sausage patty or 2 strips of bacon, and you could have regular toast.
A
You could
couple
have
times they
regular
did
toast
have
too.
breakfast sandwiches. I take that back. A couple times they did have breakfast sandwich, like the bagel breakfast sandwich,
Yeah, yeah,
eggs,
they
sausage,
didn't.
and
But
cheese.
see that back then we didn't have the whole the sandwiches like put together sandwich. No, they didn't serve that. So it evolved, I guess, to you all having the sandwiches, but yeah, but they didn't offer Pop Tarts or anything like that. Mm-mm.
Yeah, Pop Tarts was in high school. That was in high school.
And see, breakfast was only 30 cents.
Oh no, we ain't pay for nothing. I ain't know the
Breakfast was
cost.
30.
I didn't know the
Breakfast was
cost of lunch until I started working in the school.
breakfast was 30 cents in when I was in high school. When I was in eighth grade, it was free. We didn't have to pay for breakfast. And I remember lunch was $1 when I was in high school. It was $1 for lunch. Dollar, $1.50 or something like that by the time I graduated. But anyway, so anyway,
Yeah, it
I
was
mean I loved school. I loved the lunches, gym, everything. My school was highly rated in sports when I was in high school. We
mine was.
we won state a few times in multiple sports. They're still doing it now. Because I belong to the alumni association, of course, of our high school, and I get a newsletter. They're doing all kinds of things. Through the recession, nothing has stopped that school. The pandemic, nothing. I mean, they just it's just it was a remarkable place to go to school. I wouldn't change anything about my experience with school. Would you go to a different one if you had to do it all over? If you could pick, would you go back to the same school?
If I could pick, yeah, I'm going back to the same school. I'm doing the same. I'm I'm playing the same. I'm probably playing another sport. I'm probably playing a little bit more baseball.
Mm.
Um, and I think I will put more effort into it. If I can hit a top tub time machine, I'm putting more effort into it than I did this time. If
I
I
think what I would have done if I could go back, there's two things I would have done differently about high school. I probably would have stuck with playing. I would have tried out to play on the team in basketball and probably basketball and softball, or maybe even track. I may have run track because I'm very quick. I can run short distances better than long. So I think I probably would have run the I probably would have tried to run the 100. Back then it was called the 40-yard dash.
right, it's still
So
called the 40 now.
that was my specialty. Because, oh, did y'all have field day at the end of the school year?
No, we now in elementary school we had a day called what was that shit called? Well, it was like blue versus red. Damn, you made me forget the name of the day. It was
We
like
had
blue
field
versus.
day.
Now, mind you, they would try to make sure that if you had a whole family in the same house, that y'all was the same
Uh-huh.
color. So, like, say you and your sister went to the same house, the same school, like with the James Dobson. So they would make sure that y'all were both either red or both was blue, so it wouldn't be hard for the parents to get different shirts and stuff. But it was like blue versus red, and it was a bunch of events that went on, and every grade had a different event, and you were rooting for them, trying to make sure and they'll tell you the score. Well, blue got this score, red got this score. We did events like
That's similar.
you had to take a spoon, put an egg on there, and you had to walk across the
Right,
plate real fast.
right,
And if you dropped
right.
it, you had to start over, go get you another egg, and do it again.
Start over, right.
Right. And
Hmm.
I think the eighth when I got the eighth grade, we did the tug of war.
Well, see, that's how field day. Field day was all of that in one day.
Right.
It was all these events in one day, and we would do like classes against classes,
Right.
like Miss Jones class versus Mr. Fields class, and Miss whatever class. Let me tell you, if I could do high school all over again, I would have stuck with the band. I would have kept playing my flute, stuck with the marching band, and I would have probably stayed in baseball. I mean softball and basketball. And but field day was fun. At the end of field day, I used to win ribbons. I used to be really fast. I was a big girl, but I could move. And what would happen is people would think that I would be slow because I'm a big girl, right? No, they didn't know I could run until field day. And field day would come, I would always win a ribbon because we didn't have participation ribbons and trophies back then. You had to earn your awards.
Exactly.
If
And
you
you
didn't
walked around
win, you
proud.
didn't get it.
And when you got it, you
So
walked around proud with it. You know what I
that's
mean?
right. I can go get my book. Oh, let me get my book. Let me show you my ribbon.
You got your book already?
My book at? Right here. My book.
Sharon got a book, y'all. Y'all gotta watch out. Sharon got a book, y'all. Sharon got a book. She got a book with a ribbon in it. Y'all ain't ready.
I don't know where my high school book is, but I got this one. This is my old book.
I can't remember the name of that day. Somebody going, and it's crazy
Look,
because they will sell stuff
this
too.
book's so old. This book's so old. The thing. See, they used to really sell these books called school records. See, y'all don't know nothing about this because everything is digital now. Everything is a program. Everything is online. So this was me in fourth grade when I had that teacher that made me use the bathroom on myself. See,
Okay.
that was a bicentennial year. You know about the you know about the
Right
bicep?
now,
That was 1976. That was the 200th birthday of America. Yeah. 1776 to 1976. So that was a bicentennial year. That was me in fourth grade. I got some of my ribbons in here. Don't I have my ribbons? See, in these books, this was my favorite picture ever. Is my 10th grade picture. Look at me.
Back down memory
That's what you
lane.
supposed to say. Yeah, you were cute. That's what you're supposed to say. You were sitting there looking at me. Supposed to say I was cute.
I was laughing because you were so
excited. OG, you see, he didn't say I was cute. But see, in the Zoom later,
you ain't breaking my heart again.
But see, OG, later on, he gonna be mad if I don't do whatever. But he wouldn't give me my compliment that I was fishing for. You see how that works.
I learned my lesson. You ain't breaking my heart again.
Break your heart before.
I'm gonna
post my ribbons at?
I'm gonna post it when you broke my heart. Back down memory lane.
Ooh, I got another letter. Oh shoot! Oh snap! What is this? Oh, this is me in 8th grade. That's me in my room.
Nice.
Wow. It's my Nancy Drew books up there on the shelf. I forgot all about this picture. Can't find my ribbons. Where my ribbons at?
They probably somewhere.
Oh, here's some right here. Hold up. Field day. This was 4th place. This was my 4th place in the 40-yard dash.
Man,
that's as far as they went. It was 4th place. They would give us up to 4th place.
Back down memory lane. I spent my hardest times.
Did you go to summer camp at all?
Yeah, but I only did one summer camp. That's
me in summer. That's me in summer camp. Of course, I'm the spot in the middle.
Yo, trust me, we know. Ain't no.
But shout out to Fort Scott camps, and we had a field day in 77. There's my ribbon.
Still look good.
Yeah, because I got them in this book.
I'm just saying, like, they ain't deteriorating nothing. You know what I mean? Like, usually, like, some pictures, around the edges get that deterioration stuff. That one ain't deteriorating nothing. And you ain't gotta know.
They don't make things like they used to. See, these is 1970 quality stuff.
Right.
That's when stuff was made.
2021.
I know, but the stuff from that stuff stays real and true. This my 7th grade picture.
I like them big old.
That's when them big old glasses was in.
Right. I gotta get some Jones like that. I think my Uncle Mark got some Jones like that, some big old glasses like that.
This is 6th grade. I ain't gonna show you my 6th grade picture. Horrible.
Right.
Horrible.
Yeah, you're
This
gonna
is
have to keep that.
that's the jacket of the suit I was wearing when that teacher uh wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. I had on that jacket.
Now, was you wearing a skirt? Was it a tan skirt you had on?
No, it was pants. My mother made that suit.
Oh, your mother
My
was.
mother could sew. My
Oh,
mother
your
could
mother was
sew
a
her
sewing
ass off.
machine. My grandma was a sewing
Yep.
machine. She sold the
She could sew her ass off.
she sold the for the church. She sold the gowns for all the whole choir and the gowns for the pastor. What grade you in?
First grade. First grade.
Oh, you had a lot of hair.
Had a lot of hair. And it was thick. And when you took your pictures, this is how your pictures were looking back then.
Yeah, my football picture looked like that.
Now this was at the Dayton Public School. This is before I moved to the township. And remember I told y'all that I kissed a boy when I was in first grade, and his
Yeah.
name was Eddie Smith. That's Eddie Smith right there.
Kiss the girls and make them cry. Georgie, Porgy, Puddin' Pie.
Yeah, man. I got some memories in this book.
Back down memory lane.
Yeah. I never did like that song.
I don't know why
I
you
don't
don't
know
like that
why I
song. It's a
didn't
good
like it.
song.
I don't know. I never liked it. I love Denise Williams, but I didn't like that song. Was that Denise Williams?
I don't know. Right now, I couldn't tell you.
Was it Minnie Riperton? One of the two. I think it's Denise Williams.
I'm just letting you know right now, I couldn't tell you.
So shout out to all my friends from Jefferson, with Anthony Hurd, Lisa Birch, Tanya Woods, George Shear,
Wait a minute, you about to
Todd
name all
McCurdy,
of them?
Garth Adams, Rolanda Ogletree, Pamela Reed, and Denise Williams, Earl Johnson,
You know what? We gonna readdress
Craig
this.
Terrell.
We gonna we gonna come back to this conversation of school days because I think there's a couple more questions out there that we need to talk about. But for
Yeah,
today, we're gonna have to end the show. Um, I know one thing. I do miss getting up and going to school every day because
you do.
that was a thrill of what was gonna happen today. Like you know what I mean? Because I was one of those guys. I was a class clown, so I was one of those
Mm-hmm.
guys. I knew somebody was always coming for me because
Mm-hmm.
they was always trying to come for me and try to crack a joke. So I always
Right.
had to I always had to, my punch back always had to be strong, always.
See,
And
you
then
were always ready. I could
some days
tell.
I
I
would
could
just let
tell.
them win. I'd be like, "Oh, you won today.
I could tell
I'll
you.
take this loss today."
I could tell you had good training because I
Yeah.
I, I was never good with a clap back. I
Oh,
sucked at it for years. I'm better at it now. But I would be so mad in the argument because later on I would think of 10 good things I could have said and that
oh.
I did not think of at the time. I used to be like, so mad. Oh my gosh. I'm
My
better
my
at it now though.
my clap back. I had to learn. It's crazy, Sharon, but you had to look at everybody and see and like, okay, this sneak's messed up. All right, he keep wearing that same shirt. You're like you
See,
had to scout motherfuckers. You had to do like
see,
because you
see,
never know who was coming at you. So when you came to school, you asked, okay, so he went and bought that jacket and think it's cool.
see,
You don't
I'm
know.
so far, my brain is just so far removed from thinking like that. That's why I was never ready.
Well,
I was
listen,
never ready
this
to talk about
and
somebody.
we
Never.
the crazy thing is, Sharon, all these guys that I'm telling you about, I ain't saying any names. We still homies to this day. We still talk like that about each other to this day. Like that was
Mm-hmm.
it was called we it was I guess back in your day they called it you busting on somebody. Well,
Right.
we used to call it killing. Oh yeah, I'm
Right.
about to
We
kill him.
we
It's over.
we called it different things. We called it playing the dozens, of course. We used to
Yeah,
call it uh, uh rag. Well, the white people used to call it ragging. We didn't use that term. We used to call it. I can't think.
right.
I had
We
to
was
tell you
killing.
later
We
when
would
it
cut,
come to me.
and you would what
We
I
didn't
mean.
call it
Now
killing. I don't remember what we
by the
called it,
time we got to 11th grade,
except
it
for
was
playing
no
the
more.
dozens.
Oh, I'm only wearing this because my mom got no. We all got jobs now. And you went to the mall and you thought that was a cool outfit to buy. No, 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 no. You can't dress.
You grown
You
now. You can't
you
blame that
can't.
on mama
Right.
no more.
You can't dress. That's what it is. Like that's what we are, man. It was crazy, but yeah, that we're gonna have to talk about that. I'm
Oh
matter of fact,
yeah. Thank you, OG. Casing. Yes, we did used to call it casing.
y'all call it
Oh, and
casing.
we also used to call it getting out on you. Oh, he got out on him, boy. He got out on him. That's what we used to call it getting out on you. We used to do that too. But casing, we used to say, oh, he cased. We was casing. He cased her, man. Did you see how he cased her? We used to say that. Yeah.
Crazy.
And playing
I'm
the
just
dozens. Yeah.
playing a dozen. That's crazy. We used to just
Playing
call
the
it killing.
dozens.
We would be on, and the thing is, you had to be so good at your jokes that you got other people involved. That you know, because you got your normal circle, but if you could get other people laughing by they walking by, like we would do this at the mall,
Anywhere.
anywhere. We ain't care where we was at. That's why I said we was if we would have did this during social media, yeah, we probably would have been social media
Oh,
famous.
you know the number one place we used to do this at?
What?
See, I don't know about this because y'all got video game systems and consoles in your home now. We used to do this at the arcade. See, the arcade was big. That's
Yes.
where all the video games were
Right, but
in the arcade.
the best arcade was next to the movie theater, which was in
But they
Sharon.
always put them next to near movie theaters. Yep,
Right.
that was a popular place to put them in the mall. And so we used to be over there in the arcade in a circle. Oh, really? Oh, well, you so ugly, blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, your mama so whatever. We used to
Yeah.
talking about your mama. We ain't talk about daddy though, but talking about the mama got you killed. We
Oh
ain't
man,
play that.
we got started. We started getting close, so we knew where everybody mom worked at. So then we started using. So then we started using that. Like, oh well, your mom is a professional ass wipe because she was a
Ooh,
nurse. So it'd be like she's a
ooh.
professional ass wipe. She was a nurse.
And somebody's mama always worked somewhere where they had to wear a hairnet. And somebody would say something with that hairnet all twisted up or something. Somebody
Right.
would always talk about somebody with a wig or a hairnet twisted up on their
One of
head.
my homies made
Somebody.
up a joke. I think he made up a joke about my dad. Said my dad had a G string on, riding a bike, uh, looking for his girlfriend, and at the same time he seen me going to school, told me some Dennis. I was like, yo, man, I'm done. I'm leaving. I ain't gonna lie, they got the best of me a lot. I ain't gonna lie, but I got them back. I got them all back.
OG said in the comments, OG said that you had to have quarters daily to play them video games. And I said $10 rolls. Yep. I would get mom to bring me $10 rolls of quarters from the bank so I could play them at the arcade. Because you had, and then they moved to tokens. They changed it from quarters to tokens. So you had to
Yeah.
buy had
And
a
then
token machine, then you had to
if
start
your
buying the
dollar
tokens.
wasn't crisp enough to go in there,
That's
you'd be there
right.
forever trying to roll
Trying to
that thing
put
on the
that dollar
side.
in there. Yep.
Oh man. Yeah.
I love the arcade. I used to love going to the arcade. We are the ones, y'all have us to thank because we are the one that brought y'all the video game. So you need to thank my generation, Gen X. Yes, not the baby boomers that came before us. They didn't know nothing about no video game. But Generation X, we brought y'all the computers and video games. So don't mess with us. Y'all ain't gonna never mess with us.
Well, again, we'd like to thank you for that.
Gen X.
Um, for my final words, I'm gonna say.
Shout out to Des Bryant.
For my final words, I'm gonna say. Uh,
Wait,
I
we ain't
truly
do the
do.
final words. We gotta do the final. I gotta do mine, and you can do yours.
Yeah. I'm gonna do mine right now.
Okay.
For my final words, I'm gonna say I really enjoy school. Shout out to those teachers who push you to another level and made you
Mm-hmm.
do things outside of your comfort zone, get you out of your shell. Miss Adams, uh, Zimmerman, who I still believe is on dope. Um, I like to give a special shout out to them, and I would also, like to tell people You know, young people, I like to tell young people who are in school, take advantage, have a good time, enjoy yourself, stop stressing about the little things, 'cause they ain't gonna mean nothing to you 20 years from now.
Yep.
They ain't gonna mean
Good
nothing to you.
advice.
Them little things that you stressing
Mm-hmm.
about ain't gonna mean nothing. And I tell the kids that at the school. Them little things you stressing
Yep.
about right now ain't gonna mean nothing to you 20 years from now. As a matter of
Nope.
fact, 5 years from now, you're gonna forget who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my final words. Enjoy life. Back
Mm-hmm.
down memory lane.
That's right. And so for me, I want to second what Dennis said. Thank you, Dennis, for the show today. This has been a great time talking with you, comparing notes back down memory lane, just chopping it up. Loved it. And my final words to everyone is yes, all you young people who are in school thinking that I'm sitting in a math class learning something that I'll never have to use. Everything that you learn in school does not have to necessarily be used for it to be valuable to your learning experience and your growth and maturity. That's something that I learned after college. Um, with my first and second and third professional positions, things come up in conversation that you know about, that you're able to intelligently speak about because you learned it in school. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to use it, but knowing about it says something about you to other people. And before you think, well, I don't really care what people think about me, yes, you do. You do. Not half of what you do in your daily life is so that other people won't get the wrong impression of you. You do it subconsciously. You're not even aware that you care, but you do. You'll learn that once you get older. That's one. Two, live your life like you're being recorded on video the whole time. And if you live your life like that, I promise you, you'll have a better, more fulfilling life, and you'll have less stress and less pain in your life and more joy. Just live it like somebody's watching you all the time, because somebody is, you know, watching you. And the third thing is take care of your health, make good choices, seek advice from wise counsel, because you don't know everything, and do your research. You have access to Google. When I had to research stuff, I had to go to the library. I had to look at an encyclopedia and go to the library. I couldn't just look at my phone and type Google and get information. You have it at your fingertips, act like it, and use it for your good. Take advantage of all this technology that my generation has brought you. You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope y'all appreciate it. But anyway,
Yes.
shout out to my sister who's in Ohio, visiting my family, visiting my uncle, and also attending her University of Dayton Black Alumni Weekend, which is really big for the University of Dayton. That's the second college I want y'all to look at, the University of Dayton. And if you see that, you will understand why that is a big deal for them to be having this Black Alumni Weekend. So shout out to that. I hope all of you have a great sports weekend, except for the Bengals. And that's it. All right, Dennis, wrap us up.
God bless. Good day, baby.